Guys, let's get this started off with a trade. So it's a 12-team Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium start 10. Are you going Garrett Wilson and a 2024 third or Brandon Ayuk and a 24 first? Let's call it mid. Scott, go ahead, man.
Wow, it got very quiet. Sounds like an airplane whenever Shane comes off mute.
Exactly.
I just got off a plane and I'm wondering, like, did I get back on? Did I get transported back in time? No, the hot topic today on Twitter, I did have the Wi-Fi on the plane, so I was able to just crush the X streets with Garrett Wilson information this afternoon. This is a smash trade. I mean, unfortunately, with Garrett Wilson, he is now facing probably the rest of his rookie contract with inefficient QB play. You hate to say it, but where is it going to get better? I get it. The Jets could make some random trade for like Matt Stafford or someone like that, but it's not going to happen. They're going to roll out Zach Wilson. He's probably going to fail. What do you think? Within 4 games, Shane, they realize he's horrible and they probably should get a better quarterback. Now Shane is muted because
he's muted because he's embarrassed. Yeah,
I don't get embarrassed. I was realizing watching last night as soon as he got in there, like, oh, this guy still sucks, huh? He's still terrible. But real quick on that Garrett Wilson note, you should take a look at the offer that was offered to you in Dogtown in, I don't know, one of the leagues we share, because there's a first in Terry McLaurin for you. All I want back is Garrett Wilson. That's it.
Well, I mean, to the trade on the screen, it's very similar. You're getting a better receiver, most likely in Ayuk, and the 24 first for Garrett Wilson in a start 10. So studs matter a little more in a start 10 versus a start 11 or a start 12. But I think you look at last year, Zach Wilson, 26 pass attempts a game, 54% completion percentage, EPA per play, bottom of the entire league for the last 2 years since he started. So essentially, the volume is low, the quality is low, and the odds of completing the pass is very low. So with that, it's hard to even – I don't even care if you tell me Garrett Wilson gets 30% market share. What do you end up getting, Shane? Drake London, right? That pretty much.
Okay, Drake London had 0 receptions. I don't know if you heard. 0.
My point is you end up with a situation where the peripherals look good, and then you go, man, can just the quarterback be decent or the volume be good or anything be quality? Now, I did see the rumor about them going after Brissett. There's other quarterbacks they could sign that could at least get them to like what? Maybe middle of the pack. But yeah, I'm doing these leverage deals, reacting to the information quick. If I can get a first and a guy like Ayuk or Ridley or Higgins or someone like that, like I'm not hesitating twice taking that deal all day.
25 first too. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Any first and an Ayuk type.
It's got to be a receiver that's in that like at least 1 tier below. I don't want to go down to DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Jerry Jeudy. That's where you're getting into the guys where you're like, okay, what am I actually getting in the receiver that I'm grabbing? But man, you're getting one of those guys that's like a tier below and a first. I'll just take that and run.
So fuck no, I'm not making that deal. Hopefully we're not still in the demonetization zone. I believe in the player. This is where me and Scott definitely diverge, right? Like I get fixated on the player. I go, this player is really, really good. He was a top 5 dynasty asset to me this time last night. So he still is. I don't know when Aaron Rodgers messed up his Achilles. It was at some point yesterday. But no, I'm still holding on to Garrett Wilson here.
So Scott, you on our Discord, you did a emergency Aaron Rodgers drop. It was, I think, 12:45 a.m. here. You were in Vegas, but you did a 8 or 9 minute Aaron Rodgers emergency drop on our Discord. Give us your take, man. Doesn't have to be 9 minutes this time, but what are we doing with Aaron Rodgers? Actionable advice, sir.
Well, shout out, since this is the first stream I've been on here since we did the merge with DD. So we do have the Discord over there. Yeah, I guess it wasn't announced officially when you guys streamed last week. But yeah, I mean, you get more specific, actionable, like immediate content. We used to do that on Dynasty and Chill Patreon. Now it's going to be moved over to the Trades in 5 Discord. So you're going to get stuff over there, just what I'm doing. What am I doing right then? Not what I'm putting in the chat or what we're debating on Twitter, but literally what am I trying to do in the next 24 hours in my own leagues? And my take on Aaron Rodgers was, man, like, and it's actually softened since I recorded that, the more that I've thought about it, just because I've gone out and I've tested the market in all of my leagues. I think I have 5 Aaron Rodgers shares, and A lot of them are on teams where I have 3 quarterbacks. And that's one thing I noticed when I go and try to trade, because it's twofold. I'm looking at the teams where I have Rodgers going, okay, can I get anything for him? Then I'm also looking at the teams where I have like Josh Dobbs as a 4th QB, and I'm going to the team that has Aaron Rodgers. Like, are you desperate enough to give me like a 3rd for Josh Dobbs, or will you give me a 2nd for Zach Wilson? Like, if the Rodgers team needs a QB, I even sent Clay an offer. Hey, Clay lost Rodgers. I sent him Tannehill for a 1st.
So gross.
My point is, you're playing it both ways. You're playing it both ways. You're looking to see if the Rodgers manager has anything to sell. If Rodgers was his QB2, he's probably cooked, you know? And then if they need a QB, can you sell him one? But for me with Rodgers, he's 39. He's going to be 40. He just tore an Achilles. Even if he makes it back, what is he if he makes it back? Is he Does he have Shane, does Aaron Rodgers, if he makes it back, have a chance to finish as a top 15 QB? Assuming he's probably not going to be able to move at all.
I think he'll be able to move. I mean, look, best case scenario, yeah, he comes back next year and he's a top 15 quarterback. But that, like, everything has to go right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as a 23-year-old quarterback, you need everything to go right. This dude's 39. This dude, your body at 39 is not built. I mean, talk to Ray GQ about Achilles, right? He tore his Achilles at the Fantasy Football Expo 2 years ago.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, a couple years back now. And it took him, it's funny because he was just talking, I heard him talking about it on Wake Up not that long ago. Like, I'm walking normal now. Like, and I know one's a professional athlete, but you know what I mean? Like, dude, your body just, when you're 39 years old, it just reacts different. Like, I've got no hopes whatsoever for Aaron Rodgers. And I'm feeling really good that he was my get me through quarterback for the teams that I have Kyler Murray.
That you have Kyler, as like a good bridge.
Back that up well, bridged it to Kyler, and this dude doesn't even last a quarter. But I'm moving him for anything. Just buy.
Yeah, I think that if you get a 2nd, that's probably the target price. I don't think you're going to get a lot of buyers with that until you just get some news that he had his surgery. I read a thing today where because it was his left leg, I guess, which is not his plant leg, that he should be able to recover and play quarterback fine and have no mechanical issues or anything. Now, I don't know about his mobility, but the one, I guess, saving grace was that the left Achilles would have been better to tear for him than the right.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking what?
Yeah, that's like
very small margins of like it. I mean, it's not probably
a thing,
quite,
though. It's totally a thing. It's totally a thing. If you hurt one versus the other, if you're a lefty or righty,
it's like you got shot in the shoulder. So you're like,
here's the thing, Shane.
Just a shoulder wound.
Here's why I think it's more relevant. We are looking at an extremely small window of time with Rodgers. You don't have a year to go, he's still getting back from the injury. He was a 2-year bet already. 1 year is gone. The other is he needs to be healthy by July and ready to go to produce top 15 numbers. There isn't maybe he'll play 3 years and we'll give him another year and then I'll buy him when he's age 41. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a small window. You can't afford a setback. You can't afford, he's going to need another couple months. It has to be perfect and the smallest recovery possible to be worth it. So I'm guessing I'm probably not going to end up even moving the ones that I have because the prices have been, someone offered me Deion Jackson. Okay.
Are you serious?
Deion Jackson. How about a 26th third? You know what I mean? Like, you're getting to the point where at that low of a price, this isn't a J.K. Dobbins situation where any third gone, see you, don't even want him on my roster. He's just a body. So I think you can probably bank on him being a starting quarterback again.
Yep.
Because I don't think he's going to go out this way. But yeah, it's got to be a 2nd. I'd take a 2nd just to walk away, and I'll worry about it later if I need another quarterback.
Yeah, if I could buy him for a 3rd, I'm all in on a 3rd. But, I mean, 3rd is
that's not happening.
I mean, I ran some polls. Clay, Will Levis or Aaron Rodgers? Is it even close?
Wills. Give me blue jeans, baby.
I mean, I guess Levis. It would have to depend a little bit on my team. I feel like I don't know, man.
Zach Wilson or Aaron Rodgers.
It just feels so gross.
Zach Wilson, I could see going. You know what? No, I'm just going to hold on to Aaron Rodgers. But Will Levis, whatever his name is, he's still got the allure of failure in front of him. Like, he hasn't actually failed yet. So I'm cool grabbing him. But I'm definitely not. I'm not doing it for Wilson. I'll do it for Will Levis all day.
So last one, if they were to trade for Jacoby Brissett or Aaron Rodgers?
Well, Jacoby Brissett, because every team he's on, he was supposed to bridge me to Kyler Murray in week fucking 5. So I got to get to week 5, man.
Isn't that the
I'd
point,
love
though?
what a little bit of juice. Give me like $5 FAAB.
Isn't that the point, though? If you just said if Brissett went to the Jets, you would just take him over Rodgers. Does that not scream that it is the most like short-term bet that you could possibly make? If it's anybody there that has any semblance of decency, you would take him over Rodgers because he's a body.
What do you have to tack onto Rodgers to get Sam Howell, even, for example? I mean, like a second, like the Aaron Rodgers is one of those types now who like doesn't even count in a trade, basically, like we've said in the past, right? Like it's a nothing. Like Brian Tannehill, like the trade you sent me.
You have to tack on the price of the guy you're trading for.
Yeah, that doesn't even help.
Rodgers doesn't even count in the trade. You're like, oh, sure, you're going to give him to me for free? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy times, man.
So Rodgers is done. See you. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put up a question here. This is from last night or today rather on the Discord. So James Cook price check, thought he looked pretty good. Shane, your eyeballs, what does your eyeballs think of your boy James Cook, who used to be 40% exposed on?
Yeah, I wish I had a little more exposure to him. Apparently, I added him in every deal I could find because I had him in 11 leagues at one point. I'm just going to assume a lot of those are the cut down leagues, right? Those are the leagues I cut down on when I got out in non-listener leagues after last year. I mean, he looked really good. He had a 70% opportunity share. What's the word I'm looking for? Rounding up from 69 point something percent. What do you have? 6 targets, I think. He was the main running back. I mean, he looked good. I liked him. I don't know that he's worth a first. I can't imagine giving a first for him. But most likely couldn't do that with any quarterback. But
Would you sell him for 3 seconds? So 224 seconds and a 25 second.
I probably should say yes.
Easy.
But what am I going to do with them? Well, what am I buying with them? Who am I buying? I can't buy Puka Nacua, not with a second.
So that's easy for you. 3 seconds, no problem. What if it was 2 seconds, Scott? You selling James Cook for a 24 second and a 25 second?
I think the process says even yes, I would sell for 2 seconds, but that's probably because I've designed my running back room to absorb a couple of those deals. I will say the good thing about a guy like James Cook is if you bought him and you held him, unlike Shane, because Shane even said on the last Dynasty and Chill that James Cook is somebody he wish he had more of. And I was like, really? You should have more James Cook? You were the biggest James Cook fan a year ago, to the point where, I mean, it was insane how much we used to give him shit every single time, every single stream. That's James Cook's his guy. I think with your roster build, James Cook is a great running back to just say, I know he's not the perfect profile. I know that the rug could be pulled out from under him at any point and they bring in somebody else that does something better than he does. But because of his offense, his week 1 usage was even more encouraging. You just have to design your team around, I'm just starting James Cook. I will live with the downs because there's going to be some booms. What you don't want to do is what I talked about in the last Destination Dynasty is to have 3 James Cooks and try to figure out which one you want to play and go, I'll just play him in good matchups, because you don't know what a good matchup's going to be. You don't.
It's so hard to pick it. I mean, you look around this week and you're like, what a great matchup, and it didn't happen.
James Cook is not matchup dependent because based off his usage, and again, it's just one game, but they used him as the main running back, but also as the receiving back. So that makes you impervious to game script. That means if you're down, well, guess what? They'll throw the ball to you. If they're up, it's neutral. They'll let them run, or they'll just, throw to them as well. So I don't get that. To Scott's point, I don't think I'm moving off of James Cook for 3 seconds. I know Scott said he would, but to his point, I'm not, because then it's like, all right, I finally hit on one of these guys. And I know that the goal is to move all of these dudes, right? But James Cook, I don't feel like is in that tier with the pray and hope guys like Deion Jackson and guys like that.
But let's flip the script, though. Let's say all of a sudden he's not injured this week. I could trade James Cook for 3 seconds and buy Kenneth Gainwell for 1 second. And now I'll just roll with Kenneth Gainwell. Now, The rug could get pulled out of Kenneth Gainwell much quicker than it could James Cook. But what if it doesn't? I now bank 2 seconds, and it gives me essentially, and I don't, if you told me Kenneth Gainwell is used how he was in week 1, and there's no Rashad Penny, and it's essentially a 2-man backfield where Swift isn't getting any carries, I would bet on Kenneth Gainwell producing the same as James Cook.
I would never bet on that because I actually get to watch Kenneth Gainwell on a weekly basis, and he is a tuna can.
I'm saying if he's getting 80% of the snaps and 20 touches. Nope, you're not betting on that? Okay.
No, and that's going to quickly course correct itself because the Eagles just had their worst rushing game in about 2.5 years, and it's with Kenny Gainwell as the lead back because that dude is the definition of get whatever's in front of you, but that's it.
So let's move on to go ahead, Scott. What else you got to say, man?
That's where we differ. That's where I would just bet on if you're giving me the 3 seconds, especially in an active league, if it's more starters, the better. I will take the chance on just having those assets banked, and I'm okay being quote unquote a little riskier or uncomfortable at that RB spot that I was slotting James Cook in. But I get it.
Yeah,
This usage surprised me in week 1.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to this question from the audience. We have 372 eyeballs in here right now, only 16 minutes in. Thanks so much for joining. It's going to be a fun show. So Wordy from the crowd says, hey fellas, let's hear your thoughts on Jordan Love and Kenny Pickett after week 1. Let's start with who wants to talk about Jordan Love first. Shane does. Shane's raising his hand. Go ahead, Shane. Manila.
So never victory lap after week 1. It's petty. You look small. And it makes you look like you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself. But somebody was like, I like Jordan Love's situation a lot. That guy was me. I fucking said it repeatedly. I think he looked okay. I mean, I don't know how good the Bears are. The Bears are probably a very, very, very bad team. But Jordan Love looked pretty good considering the fact that Christian Watson wasn't out there too, right? Like he had Romeo Doubs and he had Jaden Reed. And our dude Luke Musgrave had a nice little target share there, and they played smart. Like they let him. I don't want to say he was a game manager. He was slightly above that, but a lot of passes to Aaron Jones let him do the thing. You know what I mean? So I was happy with it. And then Kenny Pickett broke my heart because on the players you want more of, I said I think I want more Kenny Pickett, or Scott did. I don't know. I don't know who's different between me and Scott. We're the same person a lot of times. That did not go well. That went quite poorly, and now he'll be without Dio John for a little bit, which is also not great.
Scott, what are your thoughts on Jordan Love, how he did?
Oh, this will be interesting. So Jordan Love versus Justin Fields. Fields actually had a higher PFF grade, so there's that. While pressured, which is a problem with Justin Fields, obviously, because he gets pressured more than any quarterback. Jordan Love was horrible whenever the other team got pressure. Now, the Bears can't get any pressure. If you remember, that was the one thing they talked about. The Bears had no pressure, and they signed a couple veterans to even get respectable. But we'll see. I'm not sold on Jordan Love, but the good thing, I guess, is he went out there. They won because when a quarterback wins, they get a ton of credit, right? So Jordan Love's automatically the guy now because the Packers are 1-0. But he didn't just look lost. It's a problem when it's year 4 and you're like, okay, this guy doesn't look like he belongs. So he's probably a good starter. And I give Shane props for he was buying Jordan Love even before I was. But I bet you there's probably some panic on some other QBs, notably Daniel Jones or Geno Smith. And you may be able to get a nice leverage deal where you're going from Jordan Love to one of those guys. And is he better than those two? For sure. Probably not going to bet on that. If I could get like a second tacked on or something, I may do that if someone's scared.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this.
No, if I could get Daniel Jones for Jordan Love, yeah, I'm all over that. Like I was looking at Dan Jones. I almost sent out offers for him today, like 25 firsts in some of the leagues where I lost Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. What do you think Jordan Love has the juice to be able to get up into a Burrow tier now? Do you think he has that? You don't think he's there yet? He's going to have a couple nice games to where people are comfortable as him being their QB2 kind of thing. I don't know. He just feels like he has the opportunity to bump in value quite a bit and maybe get up into those tiers, but not there yet, huh? Not even close.
I mean, he's gonna, and I have to look up. I don't know what his rushing stats were off the top of my head. He didn't have a bunch of big time throws. looked like he didn't have a lot of deep throws. But I just don't think he has that rushing side, that upside, and he's not as good of a passer as Joe Burrow. And as much as I like Jaden Reed and Christian Watson's fine enough, that's not exactly Jamar Chase and whoever they put on that other side when Higgins leaves.
Okay, sounds good. Go ahead, Scott. Were you gonna say something?
I was gonna say I don't think he gets up into that tier only because to get into that tier, you probably had to have like a really good profile and be really, really good for the beginning of your career. Like he lost those 2 windows already. So I think at best he gets to like the Daniel Jones range where he's seen as like the tier below, like he's like top 12, top 15, and he stays there because he has some job security. But I don't think he has the ability to get above that into like the top 10. Like it's hard for me to see him passing Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, even Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, Anthony Richardson. Like he's not getting into that tier. So, but that's okay. He can crack the top 15 or so. And you're comfortable with that.
So Kenny Pickett was the other part of that question. I just want to make sure we cover that. Didn't just tease it and not talk about it. Scott, what are your thoughts on Kenny Pickett?
I mean,
no
we didn't
more
really
Diojon for a little bit.
We didn't really talk about this much, but listen, it's 1 week. You kind of got to throw it away, and you got to say if you thought something, you were convicted about something prior to the season, don't just completely abandon it after 1 week. I think if we get 3-4 weeks of sample size, then I think you can start saying, okay, this is probably what things might be the rest of the year. The only weird thing about Kenny Pickett was like normally the really hot preseason like that will translate to at least something that looks like it's good. And then you're like, because I kept seeing, oh man, some of these teams that had no play in the preseason looked bad. And I'm like, dude, the Steelers were the best team in the preseason. Everybody talked about how awesome they were. Then they get out there and it's like, Pickett, there was a point where like you couldn't even complete a pass. He was under pressure and couldn't complete a pass. So you're just wondering, and I guess the only negative is we've seen that Matt Canada offense before. When it goes bad, it becomes brutal. The end of the Roethlisberger era and the first part of the Pickett Trubisky era, we saw it be really bad. And I just wonder without Deontay Johnson, I guess.
Well, look, you've got George Pickens, who the community has told me is excellent, is a alpha, and I'm too low on. So I'm sure he's going to go out there and put up a 30% target share, and Diojon, we're not even going to think about him. They got A-Rob. He can.
What this means
no
is
way Pickens is going to get 30% target share, right?
I will guess not much even changes with Pickens, and you're just going to see more Najee and more Allen Robinson, which is not going to make the offense better. It's just going to make more touches for those guys, which are probably pretty bad, inefficient players. So to me, if Deontay is out, Pickens is a sell. People think, oh man, he's going to explode. And then you get out there and you go, wait a second. Shane, he only had about an 18% market share, even with Deontay Johnson out. What happened?
Oh, I know. Oh, trust me, I know. The first thing I did when I saw Diojon went out is I go, oh, okay. Let me go to the stats. Okay, targets, freeze picture, whatever that is, screenshot. Some people call it, or freeze picture. I like freeze picture better.
Can you do that on your BlackBerry?
Screenshot it, checked after the game, and I was like, what was that? 1.5, 2 targets? Did he have 2 more targets after Diojon went out when they were down by roughly 1,000 points? So, yeah.
What do you think of the new overlay that I just threw up as you were finishing there? Look at this. Look at join our Patreon, patreon.com/allgas. That QR code will take you there. Shane is now with Dynasty Trades in 5, not HQ. There's the roster review email. Just thought I'd throw that up there. It's like, oh, that's what I was working on. Let's see here. What's up?
I was going to say the other concerning thing about the Steelers is you talked about we heard about how their offensive line was going to be better. It was terrible in week 1. And now they face the Browns, who also look like they have a very tough defensive line. So this is going to be a potential second game for the Steelers where if it looks bad, Pickens was already a divisive player, man. If he goes out there and doesn't produce when he's going against Denzel Ward and their defensive line, I don't know. Shane, do you think there is a Pickens sell window? Would you get out? Could you get out for a first this week? You think someone would pay it?
I think so. You'd have to spam for a 25 though, because when I tried to move him for 24s, people all of a sudden didn't like him. And I didn't get super aggressive and go because I only have him in a few leagues. But I think you could get a 25. Someone's going to believe that this is going to see a spike in his target share. And it might, but I can't see it getting much beyond 20%.
Would you take Quentin Johnston or Pickens?
Oh, Quentin Johnston. It's really hard. Do you know his target share was less than 9%? He played on 22% of the snaps. They don't like him. That's not a good sign for
which one would you take though? Would that be one where you would re-roll the guy on the Herbert offense just because there's probably more upside or perceived upside with the injury? The Pickens injury has already happened.
Is Mike Williams out? Is Mike Williams out, or did he come back in?
And everybody was praying that he was out. So
yes,
see more Johnston, but
finally it happened. You know what? Not to kick the baby, but if someone were to offer me that trade, either side I would just go no. Like I just hold the side I already have, and I'll try something else.
You throw 10 FAAB in there. Would you take that side where you get the FAAB?
FAAB's not going to do it for me this time.
A third?
Friend.
Not this time.
No. If I could do a third, second swap, then I'll take whichever one I'm on, is being offered to me.
Okay. So let's handle Gavin's inbox trade here while I see it start at the bottom. Inbox trade: give Waddle and Russ, get T-Law. We don't have context, but let's Gavin, let me take this down. Actually, if you could write in the context for this trade, we'll answer it properly. And thank you in advance, Shane. So we have a bunch of comments in here. Starred panic on Pitts, London, thoughts on Drake London. Let's talk about the Falcons. Let's start with London. Where's your head at? Didn't have the best game in the world, to say the least. But are you done, Dunskies? I mean, Pickens. Okay, Drake London or Pickens and a 24-second.
London.
The only reason I would consider the Pickens in second is because I think I could go and move Pickens and end up getting more.
I'll buy London for that. Here's the thing we have to hope for, right? And you never should hope that anyone gets fired, but I hope Arthur Smith gets fired soon because this seems to be his approach. And if they're winning, me and Scott were texting about this on Sunday night, I think.
You mean you were texting me just ranting about how horrible the Falcons are and how they just waste all their first-round picks?
Yeah. Whatever. You were on the receiving end of many of my text messages where I was like, there's no reason to change. There's no reason to change if they're winning, right? And if you're Arthur Blank and you're winning, then this is fine. If they want to run a 1940s triple wing, triple T offense, cool. That's great. We just wasted a top 10 pick on Kyle Pitts, a top 10 pick on Drake London. Sure, whatever they were. Here's the thing though. You can't keep winning like that. Last year, I think, was the most optimum outcome of that. Unless the Falcons are going to be okay with being an 8-9, 9-7 team every year. Like this is a team that doesn't win. This is a team that won't lose. Like that's how it's built. So you got to hope for Arthur Smith to just fucking shit the bed. I'm hoping that he gets fired immediately. I hope that he never works in the game of football again. He's a terrible human being with terrible ideas.
Is that it? Anything else? You want to beat
Shane,
him to death more?
Are you praying for Taylor Heineke at this point?
At least he throws the ball. At least
he'll
take a shot. Like well, and then that's why Arthur Smith will never play him though. So Desmond Ridder is like a safer Marcus Mariota, where it's just like, I'm not taking any risks whatsoever. I'm just not going to take a risk. And I'm sorry for even thinking Desmond Ridder was even competent because that dude looks absolutely useless. Yes, there's definitely panic on my end, but I got to hope that Arthur Smith gets fired soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just keep this one short because with Pitts, I can live with Pitts because he's a tight end. I can still live with just throwing him out there because what else are you throwing out there? Like this weekend, it's funny. This weekend and 2 weekends ago in Kentucky, I drafted a bunch of high stakes redraft teams. And you know how many of them I'm just punting tight end entirely. Didn't draft more than one. Drafted one and started him in 5 leagues, Hunter Henry. And I joked, joked with everybody. I don't even care about tight end. I'm just going to roll with Hunter Henry. Now I got lucky because he's literally the tight end one. But you know what? I don't feel any better about my tight end situation now, but I also look at that and go, man, I'm glad I didn't use that 4th round pick on Dallas Goedert, or that 7th round pick on this tight end, or blew 20% of my FAAB to pick up Isaiah Likely and started him because, man, he's going to smash when Mark Andrews is out. Nope, he's actually not Mark Andrews, if you didn't know. So I think the point is, like, I can live with Pitts if I already have him, because you're not going to be able to get anything for him. I can live with just playing him. And if he gives me 7 points, okay, it probably beat half the other teams that paid just as much at tight end than me. So I think I can live with him. London's the one that gets squeezed out to make it really tough with how many good receivers there are out there, just to continue to hold a guy that the community says, oh man, he's worth at least a first plus, no doubt. Don't trade him. Don't wait him out. And you're going, what else could you get for him?
Shane, at one point you looked like you wanted to talk there. Did you forget it?
No. I was going to say, I mean, I'm clearly not panicking on Pitts. I tried to get him for a 25 first off of someone today because they put him on a trade block, and I said, all right, let me see. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. You this trade. So 12-team Superflex PPR with a 1.5 tight end premium, so a small one. Start 10. Would you sell Kyle Pitts for Dallas Goedert and a 26 first?
No.
Dallas Goedert and a 25 first.
No, I just tried to buy him for a 25 first. Dallas Goedert does not move the needle.
I got a better one. If you're holding Dalton Kincaid right now, are you trading him for Kyle Pitts?
I mean, what Dalton Kincaid do yesterday?
Yeah, I would. I'm not going to quit Kyle Pitts for another at least year or so. I'm going to try to construct my team around not having to worry about him going off. I don't know. He has value insulation for me, whether that's the league economy, the league market, maybe a different story, but that's my take on Pitts. Like just the profile. I'm not going to be able to quit him. I couldn't quit DJ Moore for years. He's no Kyle Pitts in terms of physicality. So anyway, okay. Should we keep moving here, guys?
Let's keep moving.
Let's just throw this up from T-Bone Jones. Thanks for your response to my email question this week, Scott. Much appreciated. Love the show, gentlemen. Thank you. And yes, Scott and Shane do a ton of work for the community, helping everybody out. So let's go to another one here. This is from Alex, and it looks like super chat follow-up. This is a 10-team Superflex start 9 rebuild. Pickett and Algier to the champ for a 24 second, 25 first, 26 second. His team is AR, Stroud, Jimmy, Garrett Wilson, QJ, Marquise Brown, Bateman, Pickens, Kincaid, Akers. He's got 5 24 firsts and 3 25 first. 2 tank? Question mark? Not sure what that means.
I mean, with all those firsts, I have no problem doing this trade if you really want to get out of those 2 players or you want to just liquidate more pieces. I mean, 5 firsts, Stroud, Anthony Richardson, you can afford to trade away Pickett. Algier, I mean, you're effectively getting 2 seconds for Algier here. If you count Pickett worth the 25 first, even if you throw a second on top of the first, you're still getting a second for Algier. So I'm okay doing it, especially if it makes one of your picks or a couple of your picks maybe a little bit better. Pushes them down and pushes your own pick higher in the draft. I'm okay doing it.
All right. Let me see here. Where is that? Streamer makes it tough to find the question sometimes. Okay. Let's go on to another one here. Let's go to Kawada. This was really early on. This was at noon that he got this question in. So we'll definitely try to address those. 12-team half PPR start 9 got offered Flowers and a 25 first for Waddle, Mostert, and 2 24 seconds. Current RBs are Eckler, JT, Hall, Javonte Williams, Gainwell. Wide receivers, London, Hollywood, Collins, Davis, Cooks, and Puka, who we're going to talk about next. What do you think about this trade, Shane? 12-team half PPR start 9, Flowers in a 24 first, or Waddle, Mostert, and 2 24 seconds.
I mean, the process is just take the first and Zay Flowers, right? You're giving up Waddle, Mostert, and 2 24 seconds now. I don't want to give up Waddle for this. I don't care. I know the process says, yeah. I feel like you're selling high on, or someone's selling high on Zay Flowers right there with that pick. I'll just hold on to Waddle, Mostert in my couple seconds.
Man, is Jalen Waddle that good?
I think he is, yes.
Is he good enough to command?
I love Zay Flowers too.
2 plus first here
for me on this.
See, okay, you're counting Mostert and 2 24 first as a 2 24 seconds as a first. That doesn't check out in real world though.
I'm counting Zay Flowers as if you go send a random first for him, you have 0 shot of trading for him. And you're getting another first in it. I mean, yeah, I'm giving up the seconds and Mostert on top of Waddle, but if you eliminated Mostert in the 2 seconds, I'm taking Zay Flowers in a first for Waddle all day. all day.
Sure.
I'm not paying that for a receiver that there's other receivers I consider it, but not Waddle. Now, the other stuff, I don't know. Depends on your roster if you actually value Mostert in the seconds. If you do, then if it's a league where you can do something with those, then fine. Maybe take that side.
So Puka Nacua, I've seen a bunch starred regarding Puka as well. I saw one from Jeremy Dynasty Daddy saying the owner wanted a first and a second. And then there are other ones just saying, what are we doing? Is he the real deal or not? Let's say it's a start 10, our usual 12 team Superflex PPR start 10. Are you buying Puka with a 25 second?
No.
Shane?
I'm not buying, period. Not at what people will want. No chance.
Yeah, here's the thing. I think I'd give a 25 second. I don't know if someone's going to move him for a 25 second. I've told everyone to move him for seconds like that. That's the way to go, right? But then I thought about it. I said, you know what? Just hold him for another week. Because even if he has just a middling week next week, you could still sell him for a second the week after. But if he goes out there and by the grace of God somehow puts up another 40% target share week, where he looks like, I don't know, Jerry Rice's and Cooper Kupp's love child, then you can really make a profit on him. Like, do I expect him to be – obviously, you can't expect anyone to have a 40% target share, right? That'd be some kind of record. But I'm willing to hold him for one more week before I move off of him.
All right, so let's just think ahead a little bit. This is not about 1 week, okay? So let's say Puka Nacua goes out and he finishes as a top 40 receiver this year. However that happens, whether Kupp returns or doesn't, Stafford stays all year, the team contends or doesn't, he finishes top 40.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Stafford retires. And Kupp is back because, I mean, he's under contract with the Rams. So unless he's traded, what will the next March narrative be on Puka Nacua when he's trading for late first, early seconds? How many people will be out there paying that price? Or will it be, man, that was a great year, came out of nowhere. But if you can get a first for him, take it, right? Get out. Don't buy into the profile. Even if he's good,
that's more
the
likely.
reality it is he was a 5th round pick. He didn't have hardly any buzz before the draft, so this wasn't like Justin Ross putting up a top 40 season or Kayshon Boutte or someone like that. The reality is you're always going to be able to get back in on Puka Nacua for damn near close to price people are asking for after one game. This was not a first-round pick that busted for a little bit. This was not Sky Moore going out and having 3 games in a row like this. If he did that, then it's like, oh, my God, he figured it out. Now he's good. Puka Nacua, nah, man, he's a 5th rounder. So there's always going to be, and again, I'm coming at this from like a large portfolio. I'm always going to be able to buy him if I've now switched my thought to he's the outlier that's hit. I'm always going to be able to get back in. So why would I not sell for like 90% of that right now? Yeah, I mean, legit people paying 2 seconds. People saying they want a first. I mean, are we really that reactionary?
Puka or Jacoby Myers in a third? That's just because I saw Jacoby Myers here. I put that up. But
I'll take Puka because I could probably move him for more than that.
It's like Puka.
Jacoby Myers is incredibly good, but yes, I would rather have Puka Nacua because I can probably have much more flexibility moving him on the trade market than Jacoby Myers. He's been around. He's been the same guy for 3 or 4 years. He's always been really good.
I'll say this: if it's not a smash for me, if I can't get at least a couple seconds for Puka, I'll hold him another week. 1, because it's fun saying Puka. 2, like I said, even if he has a middling week next week, we know he's got a runway for the next 4 weeks at least until Cooper Kupp comes back. Clearly, Van Jefferson has shown repeatedly that he's not ever going to take the bull by the horns or whatever the cliche is. He's not going to take over a big target share there. Tutu Atwell was fun, but the dude is still 5'4" and 13 pounds. So
confirmed.
Yeah, there's
the size of my 6-year-old.
There's a runway for the kid to put up some numbers. And am I buying into him long term? No, because then that would be the antithesis of what I believe in. But I'm okay holding him for a week or two, see if I can get some more value out of him.
So getting a lot of trade offers for Breece Hall. Let's just talk about Breece Hall for a minute. What did you think about his performance? I mean, obviously efficient with a couple like long runs, but how did he look to you? How did he look when you saw him run? Did he look fine to you? Was I just like watching Was I just projecting injury on him?
Yeah,
I don't know.
You were projecting. That dude is a fucking Greek god. He is absurd. Yes, we've atoned. I even starred one of them. Someone said something about Scott traded him last year for someone. Look, we have atoned for that. We have said that, you know what, we probably should have held off a little bit. Breece is different. I don't have enough of Breece. He looked freaking fabulous. I'll say this, his usage wasn't as heavy as you'd want it to be, but I mean, it was his first game back and he ran for over 100 yards on just 11 rushing attempts. Like, dude, special. Stop it, Scott.
No, here's all I'm going to say. We both talked about this on Manila and Chill. Whether that part actually aired, I don't even remember if it did or not, but we both sold Breece Hall low after the ACL. We did a video. There's a video out there on record of us reacting to the Breece Hall injury, saying we will take any first. There were players we put in that video we would trade for him that ended up not being worth first. So
Williams.
Yeah, you can.
Is that what it was?
Shane traded him for JMO. I didn't want to bring it up, but you know, we both traded him. We each traded him for George Pickens. Like, so we both made that mistake. But here's the thing. Let's say you've come full circle. We were wrong. You bought Breece Hall for that random first. You bought him from me for a first because I said, oh, man, I'd rather have the liquidity of a first than a guy with the torn ACL, right? You bought him for a first. Now you have him. He's looked good. He's fully recovered. Now it's just about getting his workload ramped up, which I assume is going to happen now that their quarterback's going to be bad. So they're going to lean probably on the running game more than you want. But what's the next iteration of what you do with Breece Hall? What is it? What does it look like? Because I have two points then, and anybody in the audience that wants to refute these 2 points, fine. One, I will bet if they stick with Zach Wilson at quarterback, he is going to struggle to finish as like a top 10 running back. It's very hard for running backs, especially with another guy that's damn close to the Hall of Fame level, Dalvin Cook, next to him. Like
so you're saying because the offense isn't going to move efficiently,
inefficient,
that's going to be his problem. Yeah,
inefficient offenses with shitty quarterbacks that are not going to play to try to score as many points as possible, plus have Dalvin Cook, is going to be limiting for Breece Hall this year. Now, you can say next year, okay, next year he might not have Dalvin Cook there. Maybe the quarterback comes back. Maybe it's a better situation next year. But let's say I bought him for that first. Can I really leverage a trade right now with Breece Hall? Can I?
So
I want Ramondre Stevenson and a first right now. Will anyone pay it? No. The point is nobody is trading multiple firsts for running backs. Bijan, maybe. But I go to somebody and go, oh, I just saw you put on Twitter that Breece Hall is back. You are excited for him. And I go, how about you give me that Ramondre and your 24 first that looks like it's right in the middle. Breece Hall's going to put you over the top. No, I'm good. But you just told me he's RB2 in Dynasty.
Right,
how about Jonathan Taylor, a first and a second for Breece Hall? Oh, man, I can't do it. You know. So the point is you sold him for a first. But all you're really now banking on is, okay, he's going to just outproduce every other running back. And I don't even think that's true. I don't know if I can sit here and say Breece Hall is a lock to smash for the next year or two. I don't think it's a guarantee. So, I mean, what do you really have if you have Breece Hall, the asset, other than some mythical value that you'll hear how great he is on Twitter? But you go to try to trade him in a leverage deal and people, oh, man, can't pay that for a running back. Can't give up my extra first and a good running back for Breece Hall. That's too risky for me. So maybe Shane has different thoughts, but it just feels like the victory laps come from people that really haven't evaluated a process onto why you play like we play with running backs in the first place.
Yeah, look, I 100% you're not going to be able to move him for a first and a functional running back like Ramondre Stevenson. But do I think that Breece Hall is special? Yeah, I mean, I went on to air and quoted some ridiculous number that I thought he could hit per game until Scott pointed out that like 4 running backs in the history of football never hit that.
Combined had ever hit
it. So I had to dial that back. But dude, I just... Yeah, I think Breece Hall is special. Like, you know, like I'm not.
But what does that mean?
That means he's 25 point. Not 25 points. Not 25 points. I'm sorry. He's a 20 point per game running back.
Okay. So you're. I just want to make sure you clarify when you say he is special. Okay. What does that actually mean?
Production wise, he is a hammer. Value wise, he's a running back. So unless you're Bijan Robinson this year, Nicholas Singleton, whenever he comes out, Quinshon Junkins, whenever he comes out in that first year, you're not going to be a super great trade asset, right? Maybe I could move Breece Hall for Garrett Wilson right now, though. I think I would do that. But production wise, assuming he doesn't get injured again, I think you're looking at a running back 1, running back 2, like overall.
I will say this. He's not coming anywhere close to 20 points per game this year. You can mark that down at this point in the video, 45-20 in this stream.
All right. Dalton,
September 12th. He is net coming close to 20 points per game this year. So that's out. So the second thing is, if you bought him for a first last year, what did you actually buy? You have Breece Hall, right? He's in your lineup, and you hope he gets close to that 20 points per game. But you have absolutely no market leverage where you can go out and say, okay, now I can sell him because people like Shane are saying he's going to hit Eric Dickerson rookie year numbers. But Shane won't buy. Shane's not giving up Ramondre Stevenson in the first for Breece Hall. So what was the actual, what was the win?
He is production. Sometimes we buy production.
Okay.
We do.
But your bet is it is a one-way bet. He needs to produce, or that really wasn't a great trade.
And yes, there's definitely some trades that you make like that where it goes, this is all it is. Like when we talk about buying aging wide receivers, not aging wide receivers, when we're like Devontae Adams, you know what I mean? Like if he doesn't smash next year, there's no resale value. Like that, there's no outs for me in this trade. It's fun trading for Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, players like that, because it goes, you can look at your team and go, well, if things are bad, at least I have an out. Yeah. There's an out with these guys. So it is risky, but I'm willing to risk it for Breece Hall, but not so much that I'll give up Ramondre Stevenson and a first for him.
exactly right. Yeah. Okay. So Brandon, thank you for the super chat, man. Scott, we'll go to you on this one. Superflex, 12 teams, start 10, half PPR. When do you stop selling in a rebuild? Never? Have Mahomes, Kyler, Gibbs, JSN, Laporta, bunch of trash, 9 firsts the next 2 years.
I'm going to let Shane have this one because I see Mahomes, I see Gibbs, JSN, Laporta, and trash, but I see 9 firsts. So, I mean.
I have Mahomes, Kyler, Gibbs, JSN, and Laporta. Yeah, let's stop buying. Yeah, let's start buying. Use those 9 firsts. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Kyler plus a first gets me what? Then 2 firsts gets me wide receiver. No. Then another 2 firsts will get me another top 15 wide receiver. Like, that's what I'm trying to do here. Like, you have 9 firsts. Like, I love making picks, but I like buying players that have already produced, because generally players that have produced continue to produce at a higher rate than players that have never produced. So for me, I'd much rather start buying now. You have Mahomes and Gibbs and Kyler at some point this year. Kyler is going to come back, apparently. Don't buy Aaron Rodgers though. That's he's not going to be able to bridge it to Kyler.
Oh, that's sad. The sad phase. I could just see it right there. Laporta was on that super chat. Real quick, what'd you think about him? Nice little stat line in my 2.0 tight end. Well, in my 2.0 tight end premium leagues, honestly, that was house money after that week 1 for me. That was a treat as far as I'm concerned.
So I'll say this: I have an article dropping on Destination. Jesus Christ, I can't speak English. I'm just used to calling it DD. DestinationDevy.com, right? That's the website. Yep. Yeah. I got to drop it tomorrow, where I broke down a lot of target share, opportunity share, snap share type stuff, and I did talk about Sam Laporta. His usage is really encouraging. He only scored, I think, 9 fantasy points, but it's not bad for a rookie. I mean, it was his first game. The dude looked like a focal part of the offense. So
yeah,
I was definitely checking my Laporta shares, and a little saddened that I have a big fat, and I have a
0, huh?
A lot of
Kincaid,
a lot of Michael Myers.
I've got Michael Myers
threw up the donut. So, but it's a long season.
I mean, it was encouraging just for the rookie tight ends to see Musgrave, Laporta, and Kincaid all played like 75% or more of the snaps. They ran routes. Like, forget about whether they scored fantasy points. Yeah. Like, the usage was there for fantasy points, especially when you're looking at the tight end landscape. I mean, we were joking the other day, but who had, and this is crazy, who had the 3-way parlay? If you would have parlayed Zeke Elliott to lead running backs in targets, Zach Ertz to lead tight ends and targets, and Puka Nacua to lead receivers and targets. I mean, we're talking about, what is that, 1 in 10 million odds?
You can buy an island. You can buy an island.
And honestly, I don't even know which one is the craziest. Like Zeke Elliott was a guy people have said can't get any targets anymore, and all of a sudden, boom. Zach Ertz, like the dude was dead 3 months ago, and he comes out and gets 10 targets. Like, so yeah, just random stuff happens. The usage for the rookie tight ends though was good. So that's
there was 3 of them that had. I got to pull up my article. Read my article. I feel like Scott just stole that from my article. I noted that there was 3 rookie tight ends or 4 rookie tight ends. I think it was only 3 that crested 75% of or target. Snap share. A lot of the other tight ends, it was not pretty. It was not pretty for the rookie tight ends outside of those guys. Like Michael Mayer was absolutely just missing in action.
It's Mayer, right?
Yeah.
Shane has not given him the respect. He has not given him the respect
until he gets a reception. I will call him whatever I want to.
I was just thinking about that yesterday, actually, how Bill Parcells used to call T.O. the player. Remember that whole that was all that drama was. It was actually pretty freaking hilarious back in the day, actually. But let's go to Hunter Meek here. Scott, you gave Shane that last one. We'll give you this one. 14-team Superflex, start 10, half PPR with a 0.5 PPC. Good Lord. Traded Gibbs, Pickens, a mid-24 first, Daniel Jones, and a 25 second. Got Mahomes. Have Allen, Bijan, Godwin, Cooper, Andrews, Kincaid, JSN. What do you think?
Man, that's a big boy trade. That's a 140 starters, equivalent of like a start 12 in a 10 team or in a 12 team. I mean, listen, anytime you see you got Mahomes and you paired them with Allen, like you feel really good about that, even if you have some holes, which obviously you have now probably a couple holes with the Gibbs and the pick and spot plus the first plus the second. I mean, it's a 5-for-1 in the right context. I could see somebody moving Mahomes for this. Like I honestly, can you guys see a deal where someone actually will pay more for one player than this trade? Like in a league that already exists, is there somebody that's saying, I'm putting Mahomes on the block? And if you did that, would you actually get 4 or 5 pieces better than this from most people? Or is this one of those, like, this is probably the best package you're getting? Most likely.
Probably the best. Yep.
It's probably one of the better ones.
So then it goes to Shane, is there enough quality in this trade to give away Mahomes? Like, or would you have preferred a strong, like, 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1 where you tear down from, like, Lawrence and Gibbs to Mahomes or something like that? Like, I would have preferred a deal like that versus the 5-for-1, but I can see this working out for the team that got the 5 pieces if they needed the depth and it's an active league.
That's what I was going to say. I only like this in the situation where the rest of your team is just absolutely trashed and you're like, I got to do something because there's no way for me to rebuild. Like there's just not. So I have bad players all over the place except for this super piece that I have.
Yep.
I could totally be on both sides of this one too. I would lean actually the package right now if my room looked okay, just because in a 0.5 point per carry, I want Gibbs, even though he's not going to get a million touches, but I want that first as a potential running back. And Daniel Jones is a running quarterback at least. Mahomes will get you some stuff too, but I don't know. I like that package in that format. Just my thoughts. Okay, so let's see here. Let's move on to another one. I see we have a couple red messages here in the chat. That's always interesting what the little private chat messages for me are going to be.
You want me to tell everyone?
No, I'll check it out in a second. Chargers Payne has a super chat for us. Thank you very much. Great content, gents. I don't recognize this name before. So thank you. If you're a new sub, welcome aboard. Couple of trades based on what feels like overreactions from week 1. Both are 12-team Superflex, start 11, 1.5 tight end premium. Give Ridley and a late, and a 24 late first, get Bijan. So what do you think about that one? 12-team Superflex, start 11. You're giving Ridley and a late 24 first for Bijan.
Shane, what do you think here? Is Ridley in a first enough? I'd say late first, probably not. No. If that had a chance to be like a lotto pick that could maybe crack the top 4 or 5, I'd consider it, but probably no.
He's giving Ridley in a 24 first, and he gets Bijan.
Right.
Absolutely smashed that.
Yeah, I would take the
Yeah.
Bijan side. I wasn't even thinking about like who's getting or getting. I would take the Bijan side. But Ridley in the late first isn't enough.
Yeah. The next one is give Jordan Love, get a mid 24 first. 12-team Superflex, start 11.
It kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier. Like, where do you think Jordan Love becomes? Because here's the problem. QBs that have stability and even are just average tend to trade for a first if you can trade them. You know what I mean? Like, if you're holding a bunch of the Russell Wilsons, Jared Goffs, those types, like, you don't really want to trade them for less than a first. Can you get a first? A lot of times, no, you can't get a first for them. So you're just stuck holding them until they're not starters anymore. So, Shane, does it come down to what your QB room looks like? Because I can argue if you can get a first for a Goff or a Cousins or something, even though they're a placeholder, it's not a bad cash out price. It just depends on where your team is at and if you're ready to trade them. A lot of people that have those guys are like, man, those are what's keeping me afloat at quarterback. I can't move them for a random pick because I know I'm not going to be able to turn the pick into a first because I have to find another person willing to sell a QB. So is Love in that range yet, or do you think he has even more job security plus upside?
I think he's low end QB1, high end QB2. I don't.
Does Love ever have the power to where you could turn around and flip Jordan Love for a first and Stafford type, or even a tier higher like a Derek Carr and a first for Love? Does he ever get to that point?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yes.
If he can get to that point, then I think you probably hold because I'd rather get to that point where I can trade for the leverage side, and then you're still getting a quarterback.
So we've got 501 eyeballs in here with us. Thank you so much for joining. 56 minutes in. Wanted to address the crowd. Yeah, this is our first live stream since we did announce the partnership with Destination Devy. We got some big stuff going on. What isn't changing is our live streams, Manic and Chill, all of that content that you're used to getting and hopefully enjoy if you're watching this. But we have a new Patreon. So we would love it if you could join us, support the channel, help us grow so we can quit real jobs and such and do this for a living and deliver more content to you. No, our Patreon's down there below me, patreon.com/allgas, and you can take a picture of that QR code as well. Check out our tier. It's kick-ass. The other night, Shane and Scott did their first live AMA on Saturday night. It was an hour long. It was another freaking live stream. It was another Manic and Chill, an hour of it. Had only 17 to 20 people in the crowd, but that was a positive thing, man. It was like an intimate experience. Hopefully it'll get bigger, but I mean, yeah, it was kick-ass. It was a great way to consume that content. So join our Patreon if you wouldn't mind, if you'd be so kind and support this channel. What are you laughing about, Scott? Am I rambling too much?
I just heard you say it's an intimate experience. Hopefully it'll get bigger.
Hopefully it'll get bigger. Yeah, I know. It's 7,000 degrees in my freaking in my office right now. I might die, and I don't know what you're gonna do overlay wise. Just be ready for that.
The AMA was fun though because it was just Shane and I mean, we didn't know anything about what was gonna happen in week one. We're sitting there, we were talking about running backs and answering people's strategy questions on setting lineups, and it was a different vibe than one of these live streams. These live streams are super intense, it never stops for an hour and a half to 2 hours, just question after question after question. That felt more like just a hangout. If you were hanging out with friends talking Dynasty, So I encourage everybody to at least give it a try. Sign up for a month. If you like it, I mean, stay on, but at least try it because you're going to get a lot more content. And hate to say it, but that's where a lot of our focus is going to be. People DM us, people want takes on players, people want takes on strategies. It's going to be in the Discord, whether it's audio or just, chat in the group.
Hey, and if you just like talking trades or, fantasy football all day, at least one of us is in there at all times. And
we're going to be in there a ton. That's for sure. Scott was doing a lot of traveling too, and had some phone and computer issues. What's your battery life looking like on your computer, by the way? When it dies, Scott's gone.
Yeah, so my laptop doesn't charge anymore, so I actually ordered a new laptop, which is sitting behind me. So I'll have to fire that up when this one finally kicks the bucket for the last time. And
nice.
I broke my phone 24 hours into my trip. I dropped a dumbbell on my phone, and there's no worse experience than having a non-working phone when you are 2,000 miles away. Everything you think of, hey, all I need is my phone. It's like, oh, can you give somebody a tip for something? Yeah, I wish I had that Venmo app. Oops, I don't have it. It's just like, it's just a naked feeling when you, especially with how much Shane and I are on our phones.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like a child. If you take it away for like 2 hours, I don't know what to do with myself.
Hey, Buster McRib, there's 986 eyeballs right at this second. So go join the Discord. Be a man of your word, or a woman. I mean, but I assume Buster is a dude's name.
So I'm going to share my screen real quick because I didn't want to forget to do this. So share screen. We're going to share this tab. It is the Wheel of Names. So I had sent out that tweet saying, hey, if you guys retweet this, like this, you have the chance to get 25% off of a roster review. So we're going to spin this sucker, and then we will reach out to this person and see if they want to get a roster review from Shane and Scott. So it's going to, is it our boy Vapad? Vapad is definitely going to get a roster review, and he's in our Discord too, so he's a 50% offer. So yes, awesome. Sir. Good to see that, man. All right, let's keep moving, guys. So go to the let's go to this super right here from Simon Joseph. What's going on here? There we go. 12-team PPR start 11. Josh Allen or Mac Cousins, Najee, Godwin, and Burks. Start 11. Look at all that stuff.
That's the problem is Burks just had a less than 10% target share this week. Nicholas Westbrook-Ikhine absolutely cucked him 7-3 in targets. I love Godwin. Najee's a 1-year bet. I don't know if you can find a bigger Cousins fan than me or Scott. And Mac Jones is not going to be thrown 57 times a game like he was against the Eagles. Poorest secondary every week. I am going to go ahead and hold on to Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean, unless you just have a league that's going to reward you individually for all of those pieces, and it's like, wow, I turned those 5 pieces into 5 firsts and 2 seconds or something like that, then yeah, I just don't see the point of doing this trade. You're going to hit accept and go, man, I just got an awesome 5-for-1.
Did he freeze there?
That's it. Scott's gone.
Yeah, Scott's gone.
So I want to thank Scott for joining us tonight.
Oh man, at least it's a decent pause at the face. Oh, he's back. I see him blinking.
Yeah, did I get cut off there?
Yeah, you were just saying, oh, look at this 5-for-1, and then it just went.
No, I was gonna say you do this trade and then you look at your roster and you forget what you traded for because you go, I have 5 just other pieces on my team. Like you're not even sure what you got. So yeah, keep Allen.
Okay, so let's go to this one right here. Gosh, I just had it. Just freaking had it. Let's go to Josh. Thank you for the super chat, man. 1 of 2, 12-team Superflex, start 9, PPR, no tight end premium. Traded for Rodgers to get the Garrett stack 5 days ago. How do I recover? Zach for a second, worth it? Have a first, not mine. My second and a 25 first. QBs now are AR-15 and Stafford. Gross. I'm contending with 3 teams tanking. Running backs are Bijan, Ramondre, Roshan, P. Ryan. Wide receivers, Wilson, Hill, Olave, Jamo, MT, Puka. Puka's going to make all the lists now. Tight end, Juwan Johnson. Spend the second for Wilson, both firsts for Kyler, or hold the picks for midseason. So here's that team. 12-team Superflex, start 9.
Now Scott's on mute.
Now he's on mute. I mean, let's just...
okay.
Come on. This is dropping on Destination Devy radio now.
I see the eyeball count. It is still where it was. Nobody left because of that. I do not want to buy Zach Wilson. I feel like that's not the best use of my second because I'm probably not going to start him over the next couple of weeks over what I already have. Shane, what can I add to Aaron Rodgers? What can I add to the second and Aaron Rodgers to get another quarterback? Can I get Jimmy Garoppolo for Rodgers in a second?
Yeah, sure. Hopefully that Aiden O'Connell and they can throw him in. Like I'd be shooting high like Jimmy G, Derek Carr.
Yep.
It's hard to put any trust in Zach Wilson with a second. I can't do it.
I mean, when you rather do that though, Rodgers plus a second plus whatever else it takes to get another quarterback versus just use my second on Zach Wilson. And then I go, okay, he's on my bench because I'm not playing him over the other 2 starters that I have.
Yeah.
And then when I need him in week 7, when I have a bye week, oh, he's not the starter anymore. And what did I trade that second for?
Yeah. I can't pull the trigger on it. Like I said, I'll give you a third. You want a third? I'm your guy for Zach Wilson. I can't pay more than that, though.
Go to third. I'm your guy. I'm right here. That's a great name. I'll hit that one. I'll hit that one next. Biggie Cheese. What's up, Scott? Were you about to say something?
I just saw someone posted in the chat. Someone just traded Rodgers for Malik Willis and Tyler Huntley. I just saw a Rodgers for Justice Hill. So yeah, someone
Rodgers for Justice Hill.
Rodgers for Justice Hill. Yep. So that's basically like I just want him off my roster. I don't want to see his name. I'm so depressed he tore his Achilles. Just please leave my life for good.
I can completely concur and understand those feelings. If anyone, I haven't even bothered sending any Aaron Rodgers offers out. Like he's just sitting on my.
You had a lot of Rodgers, didn't you, Shane?
4 shares, and he was backing up Kyler Murray in every one of those. I think he was the bridge to Kyler Murray.
Picked your direction, didn't it?
Yeah. That trade, by the way, Scott, that you sent Destination 5. So that league, it's nuked QB scoring. QBs are like score a shitload of points. I had Rodgers last night. I literally needed him to score 1 point, and I would have won it. It was brutal. Anyway, nobody wants to hear about that shit. But Scott sends me an offer. I give my 24 first, or was it 25 first? 25 first, which is now looking better. And I get Ryan Tannehill and a 24 third. I responded just, and then declined.
Yeah. I mean, now keep in mind, Ryan Tannehill is projected to score 38 points per game in that scoring. And
but did you watch him? But did you watch him playing football? Where's Shane going?
Shane had to go.
Shane's pulling a Lamar Jackson right now.
The point is, Clay, the price of the quarterbacks there. The scoring is just so ridiculous. Like, I'm curious, just because Shane's not here, we can get to the question in a second. What do you do in a league like that, knowing you are completely bent at QB, and you know that if you try to trade for one that has any semblance of value, it's destroy your roster type of trade? Like, what do you even do? Like, what do you even consider? I mean, do you try to find somebody that's willing to be reasonable? Because you didn't even counter me. I have Kirk Cousins and Derek Carr too, which you would probably say are a step above Tannehill. But it's not like you countered and you tried to sweeten the pot a little bit. You just kind of left it there and just gave me an LOL in the chat and then left.
Well, it was my first glance at my phone in the morning. I think I was probably like pissing and stuff, and I see you have a trade offer from Charles Chill FFB. In that league, like I realized right off the bat, all right, I can't trade my first. I liked my team before that.
Shane screwed it all up by leaving. I don't know what he was doing.
So I was like immediately thinking, I can't trade my first now. Like they were going to be hard to move anyway. Just because
Aaron Rodgers was the difference between your team being any good and terrible.
Yes, in this scoring 100%. I like my team a lot. Aaron Rodgers is a great fit for the format, but anyway,
I just haven't been able to accept any trades in those leagues because I don't even want to look at the rosters today. Like I got a couple people that send me Joshua Dobbs offers, Zach Wilson offers, and I can't do it. Like, and they weren't thirds.
That's called dynasty denial, Shane.
Yeah. Like someone offered me Zach Wilson for Kendre Miller. And I said, no, I think I'll pass on that one.
I'd take Zach Wilson at least. He's a quarterback. What's Kendre Miller?
He's a
body. He's a body.
Okay. Let me saw another red private message here. Let's go to Biggie Cheese. Love it.
We did that.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did do this one.
Yeah, because we really liked his name. You liked his name so much that you were like, we're going to put that on there.
I want to do it again. I was like, I'm not even going to unstar this bitch. I want to pull it up again. Let's go to Professor Charlie T. Let's see how we haven't streamed with Charlie in a while. Let's see.
Hey, Char.
Hashtag week 1 hammer, fire, sale, and bail. Thanks for the super chat, Charlie. Price check on Kyron Williams, Joshua Kelly, Roshan, Sean Tucker, Gus Bus, MVS, and Rashid Shaheed. Should I try to sell for picks? Would a second do it? How to leverage the dynasty market with Orb, also known as Zero RB.
Man,
Thanks,
so MVS, yes, sell. We know what he is. Rashid Shaheed, yep. He's probably a roster clogger receiver. All the other guys are running backs. I think it just comes down to Do you need them? Do you need all of those guys? Or can you pick up somebody else off waivers? How deep is the league? Like, there's a lot of context that needs to be had into this. This is the kind of stuff we hash out in the Discord when people give their specifics. Right. You know, how many roster spots? Sure, I would sell Roschon Johnson if I can get a second and a roster spot and I can go pick up somebody else off waivers because it's 22-man rosters, then sure. So I think there's a lot of context that needs to happen in this one. And other than the running backs, the other guys are just waste of space.
What do you think on this one, Shane? Help out old Charlie here. Kyron Williams, Joshua Kelly. What are you doing with these types?
Look, who's not a sell? I mean, there's every player is always available for a price. So if you give me a decent price for these dudes, yeah. If I could package Kyron Williams and Rashid Shaheed and Josh Kelly to some unfortunate soul and get a rando first for him, yes, I'm going to do it. Can I trade? I'm just saying, can I trade Josh Kelly and Kyron Williams for a couple seconds? Yes, they're gone. Roschon for a second, sure. Sean Tucker for, why do we like Sean Tucker? Sean Tucker for any second. Yes, he's gone. Yes, these are all the types of players that you just sell, you liquidate. That said, I do like Rashid Shaheed.
Shane, are you buying Rashid Shaheed? Are you paying a 24 third and two 24 thirds? Are you buying Shaheed?
Yeah, I'll do that.
You'll throw a couple. Yeah. What about a 25 second for your boy Shaheed?
No.
Okay.
No. I like
this time to 110 mark. We're gonna.
You want thirds? Look, I'm all about thirds. You want 3 thirds, 4 thirds? Yeah. Let's go crazy. You start asking for seconds, then my purse strings tighten.
I was looking back. You're gonna see the real TikTok come out, but it was when Bob the other day just kept super chatting us like $9, and then he gives a $2 one, and Shane's like, "Okay, I feel like I owe him sexual favors at some point." It's gonna be a good one when you see it. That sounds like tonight. Okay, let's put up this one right here. Josh put up here, thanks for the super chat. So no Zach Wilson. I didn't want to spend the second anyway. LOL. Late 24 first and mid to late 25 first for Kyler. What do you think about that?
I mean, this is almost independent of the Aaron Rodgers situation because I would pay this for Kyler anyway. So yes, would I do this? But am I doing this to compete this year? Because we still don't know when Kyler's going to play football. Like, I'm still hoping it's after like week 4, but we have absolutely no indication of when he's going to play. So if you're specifically trying to buy a quarterback to compete this year, I don't know if this is the move. Long term, yeah, I love this move.
Yeah, the reality is if I just lost Rodgers and I have 2 firsts in my back pocket, the last thing I'm doing is blowing them on Kyler Murray right now because there's some rocky road ahead for Kyler Murray, most likely. Even if he comes back, he's going to be on a terrible team. You already know what the drama is going to look like in the offseason with him, assuming Arizona gets high draft picks. It is not going to be, let's go all in on Kyler Murray from January on. There is going to be some back and forth. What team's he going to play for? Who wants him? Who will pay him? Who will trade for him? Like, all these things are going to come up. So, like, the last thing I'm doing in a team where I just lost Rodgers and I'm even more desperate and I have 2 first bank, including my own, where I just lost Rodgers, is blow them both for Kyler Murray because I'm hoping for next year. So I'm with Shane. Like, that's not the move I make. I would rather tank this year and just hold the first than buy Kyler for that price. Because even if Kyler comes back, he's probably not going to be 100%, right? And he's going to be on a bad team. Is he really going to be worth more than 2 firsts as soon as he comes back? Now, Shane won't sell him for 2 firsts. But I don't think he's somebody you buy right now. Yeah, he's just not doing that. Bad process.
So I just see this one from Marvin Cano. Thanks for the super sticker. Howell to Rodgers owner for a 25 first and Dalvin Cook.
You're getting a 25 first and anything else for Sam Howell?
Yes. Package, please.
I'd probably Venmo them $15 to put that
just
deal
as like a cheers, like appreciate it.
Yeah. And here, go buy a beer. This isn't collusion, but get a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the beauty of this too is, and I've been trying to do this in the leagues where I did not have Rodgers and I have extra quarterbacks. How dominant of a move is it when I can go to the team like Clay in the Destination Chill League where I have 5 QBs and he has only 2 now. And I can find somebody to now trade me all the risk from their side in the form of their first for a fringe QB that I don't even need. So even if it helps Clay, you're actually helping me out even more from essentially letting me liquidate from something that I don't even need, and you're taking all the risk.
Like, well, so give me a reasonable price on one of your trash cans.
There's no reasonable price. It's I have you by the throat, and I'm not going to let you breathe. That's basically what it is.
I mean, he gave you a reasonable price. He has a who were the other 2 quarterbacks you had? I'm sorry.
No, the price on Cousins or Carr would be 2 firsts or a first.
Yeah. First. Oh, well then,
it's crazy score.
Yeah,
Shane,
and you're in that situation
when Derek Carr is putting up 42 points in week 1, and the best receiver is putting up 40. I'm sorry, you're not getting a QB for cheap. There's a reason I drafted 5 of them.
Yeah, you're out of luck there. You're out of luck there, Clay.
Yeah. I was like, oh, fantastic. In my biggest buy-in league too. Oh well. All right. So let's go to this one right here. Oh, this was in our Discord. I didn't have it typed up yet. So 10 team start 8, half PPR, 1 QB, moving to Superflex in 2025. I have the second/third best team in terms of contending, but slim at wide receiver. The trade is give Derrick Henry, get Michael Pittman. Team is Mahomes, Kyler, Howell, Henry, Aaron Jones, Breece, Monty Gainwell, Penny, Adams, Ayuk, Marquise Brown, Bateman, Kelsey, and Kmet. What do you think? So you're giving Derrick Henry, getting Pittman, 10 team start 8, half PPR, 1 QB, Superflex in 25.
So one of the beautiful things about being in the Patreon is as soon as you asked this question, I already answered it, but I'm still going Pittman. But even in a half PPR, maybe I'm a little concerned by Tajay Spears getting more snaps than Derrick Henry in a fairly close game and getting all the third down work. Or maybe it's just the fact that Derrick Henry's 37 years old and Michael Pittman looks like Anthony Richardson's best friend.
Yeah, I think this is one of those deals that's probably always been on the table for Henry. So now it's just, are you ready to make it? If not, and you just say I'm riding him out, then that's fine too. But this is probably the best deal you get for him. I don't see it like, oh, here's the thing. If Derrick Henry goes out and has 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, is his sell price going to be higher next week? Or it's going to be people are basically just willing to buy him a little more aggressively, but they're not tacking on extra to go buy him. So it's just, you just decide to sell. If you decide to sell, this is probably about the price.
Sounds good. So Shane, let's go to you on this one. Cassius Carter. 12-team Superflex, half-point tight end premium. So we'll assume PPR for everyone, 1.5 for tight ends. Start 12. Love it. Got Mahomes, Danny Dimes, Kyler, Olave, Flowers, Keenan, Sutton, Breece, Herbert, the Khalil version, Roshan, 6 backups, and Goddard. How's my roster construction plus any moves? So let's talk this through. 12-team Superflex start 12.
Flowers and Keenan and Sutton are his only wide receivers. I mean, obviously the running back room is great because he's got Breece, Herbert, Roshan, and 6 running backs. The construction's fine.
QB room's awesome. QB room's kick ass, right?
Whatever. Goddard is fine. I'm not going out of my way to upgrade from him. And you have Mahomes. Could I use Kyler for another receiver? I wouldn't be opposed to that. But it'd have to be like a high-end receiver. And I don't know if anyone's going to pull the trigger on that right now. And by the time he gets back, I don't know if you'll want to do that.
This is start 12, and he's Scott, chime in here.
8.
Is this a
like only got 9 actual starters? That's a little.
There's not very many listed here.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have enough receivers to get by in a start 12. It's a 1.5 premium.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's tough because before the season, if you gave me this question and we didn't know anything about like the market in the league or whatever, I'd say I'd be fine tearing off of Dallas Goedert and getting extra stuff, you know, just so I can maybe buy another starter and still ride with. Because if you look at the war or the warp at tight end, like if Goddard is not going to be a difference maker or a positional advantage guy, then he's actually too valuable to hold in this format because there's so many starters. The more starters I can get at receiver, if I can throw in, like this is the kind of team you might have had Puka Nacua in a lineup, you know, and you're like, I didn't have anybody else. So I don't want to have too high a liquidity at a tight end position if they're not going to give me that production. So I could have just rolled a lesser tight end out, gotten back, I don't know, swapped a second or a first or something like that. And then I have an extra first to buy another starter. But, Goddard goes out, puts a donut, and has one target in week 1. Like, good luck pivoting off of him now. So I think it's too late on that. But I don't know. He didn't list his picks or anything. So, he needs more starters.
It looks deadly thin in start 12.
Well, then.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, if that's everyone that's actually – because he sits Khalil Herbert, he named it running back, and then 6 backups. Roshan, I should say. One of those 2. And then 6 backups. So that makes you think he's super, super thin. So I'd probably be looking to move Kyler for a couple starters if I could.
Just let in the chat, Fabian, we have your super chat. We just haven't gotten to it yet. We got quite a few we haven't gotten to. So we got you, bro.
We got you. Here, let's just go to it right now. Mr. Fabian, here you are, sir. Thank you for your super chat. 10-team, 2 QB, start 11. Send a late 24 first. The team has the best roster in the league. Shaheed and a 25 fourth. Get Zay Flowers and Puka. Okay, so you're giving a late 24 first, Shaheed, and a 25 fourth for Zay Flowers and Puka.
Easy.
2 QB.
Yeah, but it's a 10-team. I think it neutralizes the QBs a little bit. If it was a 12-team, I would say no, because that first probably has a better shot at moving to get a more leveraged asset. But in a 10-team, I can't imagine. Maybe the market's different, but I can't imagine. I mean, even if everybody has 3 QBs, you're still enough to go around. So I'm okay doing this. Yeah. Depending on what I can sell Puka too, right? This is a perfect one where you can turn around and sell Puka.
Exactly. You're getting super flexible assets. Yeah, that's what I like about it too. Yeah. You on board with that, Shane? You're good paying that for Zay?
Yeah. Look, late first, I'm always okay with moving for wide receivers. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, good trade there. Okay, let's move on to this one here that I had thrown up from Tyson. Shane, last name. Go ahead.
Lucier.
There we go. That's what I would have gone with.
Or Lucier, like many of my ex-girlfriends. Luce. There's no need for that.
That is a short right there.
100%. Dalton's got this. 121. Okay.
Uncalled for.
Yeah, just how that stuff like organically comes to your mind is just incredible. Like you're the only Shane, and that's probably a good thing.
Yes.
Oh, we love our Shane. Okay. Never change.
We didn't even get to the question.
Thank you for the super chat. We didn't even do. All right, Tyson, Lucier, not Lucier. What percentage of FAAB would you spend on Rico Dowell, Justice Hill, Zach Wilson, and Kendrick Bourne? Superflex, 10-team, start 10, PPR. What do you think here?
Zach Wilson, I would probably be willing to spend 10, 20% just because he's a quarterback. Kendrick Bourne, nothing, because I'm going to have no clue when to play him. 10-team, start 10. I'm good. Rico Dowdle, I'd probably put maybe 2-3% because he's probably the definite backup in Dallas, and you just haven't really seen a real game from them yet. I mean, Justice Hill, you even want to pick him up?
Justice Hill is such a trap. Like everybody,
let somebody else.
It's going to be Justice Hill's room, and you're like, guys, it's really not. Like, I know he had 2 rushing touchdowns this week. Like, I know he did. Melvin Gordon's coming up. Gus Edwards is going to get most of those rushing attempts. Like, that's never going to happen again.
I mean, do you remember Tyson Williams, Kenyon Drake, Mike Davis, Latavius Murray? Like that. This has been the Ravens the last 2 years where like you look at the end of the year and their backfield was like split 7 ways. Yeah. And you know who's at the top of both of those, even when he's injured? Lamar Jackson. Yeah. So, I mean, Justice Hill, I'm good. If I'll pick him up, but he's one of those guys I put a $0 bid on. And if I get him, cool. He's on my roster. You didn't get him. But it's not like I'm putting him in the lineup. So, yeah,
there you go. Jackie Moon, perfect. He had 8 carries for 9 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, that's and you know what? That's great because he's going to do the same thing. Just take away those touchdowns. And then next week when you're like, well, I hope it's a point per carry because then at least like a full point per carry.
You got 2.9.
Yeah, like
there you go.
Yeah.
Did you cover all of this? There's a real quick percentage of FAAB on like Zach Wilson, Kendrick Bourne. Did you cover this as I was going through it? Okay, cool. Alrighty, let me put that one down here. Eric, does Eric have a message? He's got this little super sticker for us. Maybe this is back 8:39. If you wouldn't mind bird dogging
Eric,
that
Shane just takes the money. Doesn't even care about the message.
It's like
I thought that was
ching.
It's like, hey, if you pay me enough, I'll call you anything.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, see if you can find Eric's. Thanks. Okay, let's go to Ray McCall. 14 team, Superflex, start 11, 1.5 tight end premium. QBs are Kyler and Deshaun. Tight end is Andrews. All else are Jags. Oh, God. Plan to tank for Caleb and trade. Also have 724 first, 525 first, 326 first. How to dominate in the future. Well, he's got a war chest.
This is a bare bones roster, and I kind of like it because they're all players I feel confident in being as good or better next year. So yeah, you've stripped this down. I would just keep focusing on where can you trade a couple of those Jags, especially if they're running backs. You know, anything. I think this is a masterful
got a lot
job
to work with. Yeah.
And in case you guys weren't aware, next year's wide receiver class is actually pretty good. But also, you'll be able to use some of these picks for players if you wanted to. It'd be a nice little mix and match of that. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind using some of these 25 first for, not right now, obviously, at the end of the year for known entities, and maybe using some of those 24s on some of the wide receivers coming out, because I'm going to hope that one of those picks turns into Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, and if this is your roster, it's probably a really good bet. You're getting multiple picks inside like the top 4, which means in the 14 teamer, you're going to have
14 team Superflex.
You're going to have options to tier off of Caleb, whoever the QB 2, 3, 4 is, plus Kyler, plus Watson. Like, you're easily going to be able to split one of your assets for multiple starters. So you're in really good shape.
Yeah, that's a big format there. It's 14 team Superflex with start 11 too, right? That's a tough format. Okay. Let's go to
Eric.
Where's Eric? Oh, yeah, sorry. He said, sorry, forgot the chat. On a contending Changer's shaking his head. On a contending team, 12-team Superflex, start 10. What are we doing about London and Pitts in the Atlanta offense? So we talked about that early on, but let me ask you this. So can both of them eat in that offense? After what we saw with the running
in this offense, this specific offense,
as this year, can they both eat?
Clay, if all of us haven't eaten for the day, will a Happy Meal feed all 3 of us?
Will a Happy Meal from McDonald's? No way in hell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know the running backs out-targeted wide receivers for Atlanta? Did you know Desmond Ridder had more receptions than Drake London? We need Ray mentioning in the chat here. He's the biggest fan in London there is. There's no shot at the Trinity. There's not. There's just, where's the volume coming from? Like, apparently he can't even get a high target share of the little passes that they do attempt, because Desmond Ridder is a more better. Yeah, for sure. He's a more better receiving option than Drake London. You're going to get me angry on Arthur Smith again. No.
Well, and they, like Ray, speaking of the Trinity, and definitely sign up for the Patreon or sign up for Destination Devy to hear more about what that is. But even if the passing volume was there and you could mark Drake London down for 25-30% target share, he's still, based on last year's data, and has nothing to do with the Arthur Smith offense or anything, he's still limited in like what he can do as a receiver, right? Like, he's not hitting all 3 aspects of the Trinity. So it's like you're talking about essentially like air yards, and market share. Like, he's not hitting all 3 of them anyway, but then you have the situation that's limiting just the overall quality of his offense to begin with. So it's just, I mean, we already said Pitts. I'm willing to, if I have Pitts, you can't sell him for anything close to what he could be. And I also know I can ride out a tight end for a really long time, and I'm willing to be patient because of how bad tight end is relative to the rest of my league. If I'm just starting Kyle Pitts and he averages 9 points a game this year, I can live with that. But London, you're sitting here going, man, he's getting crushed by the likes of Kendrick Bourne. And I mean, if you told me you're starting Puka Nacua or Kendrick Bourne over Drake London, like, people will legitimately do that, and I can't argue with it.
No,
I can't. No, so like, what are you doing with Drake London if you have him, Shane? Besides, I know you want to buy him, but I also know you're not buying him at the price where it's like, I'm overly aggressive on the market on what you're buying. Like, if you have him, are you trying to add him to something? Would you swap him for... Would you trade him out for another receiver that you think is lesser but has a way better situation?
I hate
Jordan Addison or Drake London.
Oh, yeah, then I might do that. Yeah, I might do that. At least
you take Addison?
Yeah, but here's the thing. So keep in mind, Kirk Cousins is might be going after this year. I don't even want to put it into existence because we've been moving on from Kirk Cousins for about a decade. So I could probably be swayed to do that though. I'm a little heavy in Jordan Addison in my portfolio. So I don't know if I would do that, but I wouldn't be mad at anyone that did that trade. Not at all, because Jordan Addison's super talented, right? And if his situation is clearly going to be better than whatever it is that Arthur Smith is doing to the game of football in Atlanta, then I could see taking Addison over him.
Okay, let's go to Brenman's super chat here. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. 12 team, 9 starters. He did say Superflex on another $2 sticker. Appreciate that. So 12 team Superflex, 9 starters, non-tight end premium. Quarterbacks are Stafford, Pickett, Mac Jones, Stroud. Running backs, we're looking at Breece Hall, Akers, Zeke, Roshan. Wide receivers, Godwin, Elijah Moore, Pittman, Ayuk, Sutton, Parker, Quentin. Tight end is Ingram and Hurst. 624 first, 0 seconds. Any advice? Rebuilding team. So 12 team Superflex, start 9, non-tight end premium.
Man, this just feels like a roster that just has a lot of average stuff.
It's a
9th place team.
I mean, he's got the 6 first, right? So at the end of the day, like the rebuild is in full effect, but it's just so weird because then he's like, yeah, and I also have Breece Hall, and then I have Stafford, and then I have Godwin.
He only has 3 or 4 players that even are starters in a start 9.
Yeah,
but the problem is he has a lot of valuable players on his roster. Like this will be the kind of team. Shane, do you think he has enough where he could turn what he has into 8 more firsts?
Yeah. I mean, he has 8 more firsts. Oh, excuse me.
Everything combined. So you're talking Breece, Stroud, Pittman, Ayuk, Godwin, everything.
Jade is just thinking about how if he could get 8 more firsts, he'd have 14.
I understand the concept of combination. Hall, Godwin. No, you can't get the 8 first with this. There's no math that's going to work because then you're assuming people are going to give you for a first for Pittman and a start 9. And the people that could afford to do that probably wouldn't pay for him. At least they shouldn't. Same with Ayuk. The people that could afford that probably shouldn't do that.
But what's he do? Because he has a bunch of players that are like quote unquote valuable that can produce right now, but all of them could be heading downhill before he even can get anything out of them. So like, are you trying to move the
Pickett and Mac Jones and stuff too? Like I'm just looking at those QBs like bye.
Yeah, I mean like
Stafford, he's 1 hit from combusting. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
Pickett, Akers, Zeke, Roshan gone, Elijah Moore,
Godwin,
Sutton gone.
Yeah, bye. He's
Parker,
not going to be ready for Godwin.
That's not Devontae Parker, right?
It probably is, unfortunately.
You can cut him in this format.
He should never.
Look, Shade's clearing up roster spots.
Hurst.
For you too, Brenman.
Yeah, I mean Hurst. I would look to move. Like I'm looking to move everybody except for. I want to hold on to Godwin. I'll move anybody on this roster.
Why you want to hold on to Godwin over Pittman and Ayuk?
I like Godwin, but no, I'd hold on to Pittman, Ayuk. Everybody else can go. Like, look, we were talking about Hall earlier.
You wouldn't hold CJ Stroud?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Definitely hold Stroud.
Yeah, sorry. Hold on to CJ Stroud. If you want to hold on to Pickett as like a QB3, cool. Or Mac Jones, want to hold on to one of them, that's fine.
Yeah, great.
So you're not starting from scratch at the QB room after you move off of everyone. But Stroud and Pickett. Someone in the chat actually asked, and I'll just knock it out. William Downs. He asked about Garrett Wilson. Nope. Has nothing to do with that. Someone asked if they would, if I would move Breece Hall for Garrett Wilson. I would do that
all day.
Yeah. So I'd look to do something like that. If someone's willing to move Wilson, well, I'll say it's low right now off of the news that Aaron Rodgers' ankles don't work, then yeah, I'm definitely willing to make a move like that and build towards next year.
Yeah, this is from the fantasy plumber. It says if Olave can crush last year with Dalton, maybe we shouldn't write off Garrett yet. What are your thoughts there, Scott? You throw it up.
I kind of want to hear Shane's thoughts because what is the definition of if Olave can crush last year with Andy Dalton? What are we saying Olave did last year to crush? He was wide receiver 26 in points per game. I get all the peripherals are there, but I think he, along with Garrett Wilson this year, along with Drake London, they were always a bet where what did those peripherals that you talked about all offseason, what do they signify, Shane? Olave, London, and Garrett Wilson are good players, right?
Mhm.
But they are not going to produce in the range where they were being valued until what? The situation was favorable. Instead, we get Zach Wilson. So it has nothing to do with Garrett Wilson. You're now betting. I mean, is it crazy to say that you are betting with Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson? You're betting on the same thing with Drake London and the Falcons offense, right? It has to change. You're just betting that the situation changes. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's the situation's slightly better, though that's not really saying much. That's like I'm standing on top of the fire instead of in the fire, I guess. But I did some research right before the season. I went back the last 3 years, and for elite wide receiver production, top 10 production is what I looked at. 60% of the time, their correlating quarterback was a top 10 in fantasy points per game too. So there's some correlation there. Now, obviously, there's outliers at that 40% range. So there's some that fall without that range. But generally, you kind of need elite quarterbacks, or at least good quarterback play, to have an elite season. Now, I'm willing to buy Wilson because I'm just hoping that the situation is going to improve. But that's just hope. You know what I mean? That's me betting on his talent and hoping that somehow, and I have no path or no idea how it's going to get there, that the quarterback situation is going to improve. I don't know. I'll hope Kyler Murray gets traded there or something.
But we've seen this before. Ray talked about it today in the Heisman voice chat. We've seen this before. People that are just playing Dynasty for the first year or two recently. We saw this 5 years ago. Who are the names that come to mind? When you look at their splits through like 30 games of their career, you're like, damn, that guy's really good. They just need a better situation. DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, both of those guys, you're like, man, if they just would have been on a great team, they would have smashed. But they never were. And now here you are, and you're 5 years later, and you're going, yeah, I wish I would have sold DJ Moore when he was wide receiver 2, or Terry McLaurin when he was wide receiver 8. And you didn't. And it wasn't a betting against the talent or for the talent. It was just the situation probably didn't warrant the player being valued that high because people were just ignoring it and saying, I'll buy the talent. So they're just blind on Garrett Wilson. They're just blind. It has nothing to do with whether he's good or not. He's very good.
Here's what I'll say. So it's okay to make some of those bets once in a while. It's just you can't live in that world. You can't continually keep making that bet repeatedly. Like you can't make that bet on like 5 players on your roster. Like, well, the situation is just going to get better when it's so bad and there's really no outs.
Which is what bothers me when analysts go out there on Twitter and they say, buy low, buy low, buy low. Who the hell is selling Garrett Wilson low?
Yeah, well, nobody's selling him low.
Here's the problem. A lot of analysts say a lot of things because they don't play. They don't play. They don't actually know what buy low means. And if you ask them, what does that mean? They'll say, well, pay less than you would have yesterday.
They'll pay.
That doesn't help me, bro. Like, give me some names. Like, give me an actual offer.
Yes.
Only some of us can do that.
No, they'll trade our first for us all day, but they're not in the trenches right alongside of us. So let's go to MJ Hammer here. I will admit, MJ Hammer, I had been putting this one off because I saw the 1 of 4. However, I'm sure you wrote this perfectly. Shade's buckling in, pulled down the Dynasty Trades in 5 hat. Good looking hat. 1 of 4, 1 QB, 12 team start 9, half PPR, no tight end premium. Sent Christian Kirk, Dulcich, projected late 25 first, received Waddle. Previously traded away my 23 first in a package for Bijan and my 24 first in a package for JSN. In a shallow 1 QB where I expect to contend for the next few years, should I keep trading away my first to buy starters and tier up instead of making the picks since they're unlikely to be starters? Is that a good strategy? I have 2 projected early 24 first stashed, no other 24-5 picks. Tempted to sling my 26 picks and Waddle/Higgins for Wilson, Olave, Chase, unless you guys stop me. Thank you. All right, sounds like one of those leagues, right? Where you're just slinging shit around, just slinging 26s. People are telling you they'll give your 29 first. Let's go back here to the start. 1 QB, 12 team, start 9, half PPR. What do you think about this trade? Sent Christian Kirk, Dulcich, projected late 25 first, received Waddle.
So he traded, a penny, nickel, and a dime for like a quarter here. So you gave up nothing. You turned Christian Kirk, Greg Dulcich, who's useless in this format, and then a late first in 2025 for a starter in a 12-team 1 QB. So that first trade, if those are the deals you're getting by just packaging shit with first, then keep making these deals until infinity.
Yeah.
Never make a pick.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that kind of speaks to that. The second question was, if he wants to just keep content and expects to just keep trading away his first to buy starters and tier up, like in this league, like your first or my first or your first, by all means. 12 team, 1 QB, half PPR, start 9.
If they're going to sell you starters like Waddle that are 23, 24 years old, cool. Yeah, let's keep doing that. Because again, we love rookie picks, but this is what I really love to do with rookie picks is spend them on young dynasty assets that I kind of already know their range, that they're valuable. So if you can do that, sure. Just don't start doing it for guys like Devontae Adams. And when I say guys like, not specific.
I mean, even so, it's a late 25 first and a 1 QB. Like, what are you even giving away? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I don't want him to get to the point where he's trading. He's just frivolous with the first.
Sure.
And he's just making them. He's not disciplined in the trade. If you're going to do it, if you're going to trade your picks away, you're not going to get younger through the draft, obviously. So what you need to do is make sure that the starters that you're getting aren't super old.
There's some liquidity left in the player he's trading for.
Exactly.
If you get that, then no problem trading away picks.
And you leave yourself some outs too. So if a couple downturns happen on your roster, at least you still have some players that you can move off of.
Let's go to this one right here from Fly Paint. Thank you for the super chat. Part 1. Oh yeah, this guy's funny in his avatar down there. It looks exactly like my neighbor. All right, part 1. 12 team Superflex start 11 PPR. 1 point tight end premium. So we're going to go, it's 2.0 for tight ends. Coming off a rebuild, quarterbacks, Mac, Pickett, Kyler, running backs, Saquon, Najee, Brian Robinson, Gibson, Kyron, Gus. Wide receivers are Garrett Wilson, Olave, Devontae Smith, Dotson, and Juju. Continued part 2, tight ends, Hawk, Kittle, and Freiermuth. I traded away my 24 first for Kyler. Need QB points. What's the move? Thoughts on Mac versus Pickett? Thoughts on Mac versus Pickett, Carr, Howell, Russell, Gino, low tier QB2s worth a second, something along those lines. Are those guys worth a second? Sorry, I can't read right now.
I think the problem is if you look at his roster, like he's got a lot of like trying to win now pieces, and he doesn't have his first, and his QB room is scary for this year if he's trying to win now. So, I mean, you're in a tough spot because you could say, I'm going to try to trade. I mean, you could try to move Saquon, Najee, any of these guys like Kyron Williams or Brian Robinson that had good games. You know, you could go the other way, but I don't know. You think this team can win, Shane? Can you win with Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett and no first?
Yeah, you can win. Anything is possible.
But are the other players strong enough to win here?
Okay, well, let's see. We've got Saquon. Sure, he's good.
Saquon has to stay healthy. A lot of things have to happen here.
Garrett,
in my opinion.
With Garrett Wilson, with the Rodgers thing, it hurts another high end. I think outcome with Wilson.
Yeah, in a start 11, the rest of his pieces are actually pretty good. You know what I mean? Like they could, I don't know that they could carry you to a title, but the fact that Mac and Pickett are your starting quarterbacks kind of does seem to limit you.
Keep this in mind. Traded away as 24 first.
Yes, no
Kyler.
first.
So let's keep that in mind. No first.
Can you trade for another QB? I think that's what he's asking. Can you trade can you trade for a Gino or a Derek Carr? I don't know if you can get those guys for a second.
Mac versus Pickett, Carr, Howell, Russell, Gino. None of those. For that, I'll just hold on to Mac. Like, sure, those could be upgrades. Like Howell looked like absolute trash.
Well, no, you don't upgrade. You need another one.
No, you're just getting another one.
I don't want to. No, I honestly no.
So the question is, if you are a Derek Carr away from having a chance, you probably don't have a chance.
You're not a chance. Yeah, just like we were talking about Clay's team that was in it until he lost to one player, Aaron Rodgers. No, I understand based on that scoring. No, you're in that one league.
Yeah, I know.
Because quarterback scoring is like quadrupled or whatever. But yeah, if you're one player is the difference between you being a championship contender and last or towards the bottom. Your team's not that strong.
I get it.
So here's the only other thing. Is there enough on this team where he could trade it away and get more players? I mean, Kittle, Freiermuth, Pickett,
looking
Mac
at the tight
Jones,
ends.
Najee, Brian Robinson. Can he get anything for those guys that makes it worth it to blow it up either?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at too with Kittle and Hawkinson in that format, 2.0 tight end premium. Like maybe the play is to like try to tier down from one of them if somebody is willing to pay for it.
Definitely,
as long
Hawkinson.
as exactly.
That's
yeah.
one you can move.
As long as the market appreciates how ridiculous tight ends are in that format, or how they're very valuable. Okay, Matt Campbell, thank you for your super chat, man. 10-team Superflex, start 9, target 24 or 25 first. His team has Hurts, Dimes, and Lamb, but has vets in Henry, Eckler, Mixon, Keenan, Hopkins, and little depth behind them. Think 25 could be the move. What's the strategy? I love this question actually, because you're trying to predict the future of this team. We always start by looking at the QBs, right? Just generally to see like the strength and health of a team. So what do you guys think here? Looking at this team, do you want the 25 first or the 24 first? Time value of money?
Probably. I guess it depends on where the other teams rank too. Like how many teams do I think are better than this one? Because even this team is shallow enough where, Henry kind of fades. Eckler continues to be hurt. Like you could see how this team could go very badly this year. And it's a top 5 pick. You know what I mean?
But a lot has to go wrong for that to be a top 5 pick this year.
True.
Natural life just has to continue to evolve for it to be a top pick in 25.
So would you bet on this guy's 25 straight up over his 24?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Okay. Would you be willing to do it if he said either one, but I'm not giving you an extra on the 25? You pick. Would you take the 25 if it was 50-50?
Yeah, give me 25.
I don't know if I'd have the stones to do that, or if I could say that right now. I'd have to know what the league thinks about firsts, like how valuable firsts are in that league. Because
is this a sleeper league? Good point. Is this a sleeper league? Is that 25 first damn near a 24 first in the eyes of most of the people? That's a good point. Because if it's an MFL league, they do play different. Like in an MFL league, like 25 first are almost scoffed at. Like that's not a real year. And I'm like, you can't use that. That's my phrase. I trademarked that. But in sleeper, it's more than a real year. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I can see the context if it's an MFL league, and if your league doesn't value the picks like that, sure, hold on and take the 24 instead.
Yeah, we've got a couple of funny things. Yeah, it'll still start here. Bob says Shane does owe me a sexual favor.
Bob, let me just say this: I do lots of stuff for money, so I don't really, whatever.
Yeah, and maybe Bob should join the Discord, and maybe there's a chance he gets one.
Yeah, Berto's got it here. Discord's highly recommended. Thank you. He's clearly a member. Under Scott too. So roster reviews is a new thing that we're working on. So we've got 3 tiers. So a peer-to-peer, where we've got a group of a few guys who some squirts and hammers who can review your rosters. It's like a cheaper option, but it's gonna be a quality product. I think there's a market for it. But if you want one of your peers that we'll put our brand behind to review your roster, that's an option. The tier we always push is the Scott and Shane live roster review. It's a kick-ass product. Okay, so that's another tier. And then if you want to get big boy, big girl, big hammer, big squirt, we've got a very fancy Heisman tier review where you can take over one of our live streams, make you look all fancy, give you some merch and all of that. So go to dynastytradesand5.com/roster review. So go to our website, top left corner, roster review. There's a landing page. You can check out the details there, click on those, or just email under Scott there, roster review at dynastytradesand5.com. So I think that was the whole roster review spiel there. I don't know. I blacked out. What happened? Did fine?
No,
you nailed it.
You did great. Look, and I want to put this out there, and not in a mean way. Me and Scott, just as far as a patron, would respond to a lot of DMs, but those are being pushed to the Discord channel. If you're not in there, I'm not likely to respond to your DM, and I don't mean that to sound like a dick, but that's where I'm spending most of my time, and Scott as well.
Yeah, I mean, we just have to at some point, right? Like we were not a monetization channel and whatever. We still care about our community, content and community, but to keep the content coming, we got to we got to monetize to a certain extent. We got Destination Devy in the house. He's going, whoa, now Shane. He was laughing out loud, I guess, what I was saying, big hammer, big squirt, something like that.
Well, an important thing, and no one voted on this, is every cool group, patron, whatever, has a cool name, right? Like Scott had the Chillbillies. HQ had the whatever, the name was horrible. So
he just says every group has a cool name and then immediately
has a name. So I was trying to think the other day. So I went with either Hammerheads or Squirters, and Squirters didn't get a lot of votes. I was kind of pulling for that. Like I wanted to be able to call everybody the Squirters.
I'd prefer the Hammerheads, yeah.
Whatever.
Hammerheads would win, and if those are the options, Hammerhead wins that.
Shane,
trade.
where do you spend all day of your time when you're actually at your real job? You just with the Squirters.
I'm hanging with the Squirters.
All right, this one's going south.
Yeah. So we don't have anything starred other than we've got this. Discord is lit. Thank you, Chub Knuckles. That's it for tonight, man. We did an hour and 50 minutes. We have 481 people still hanging out with us in here. That's kick ass. Make sure you hit that like. We'd appreciate that. Easiest way to help out the channel. Biggest way to help out the channel, join our Patreon down there, patreon.com/allgas. You can join our tier. You can go to Ray's website, Destination Devy. Yeah, destinationdevy.com. I'm pulling a Shane there. If you go there, you can see Destination 5 as a Discord tier where it's both of us. So it's a combo tier, everything with Destination Devy and Dynasty Trades in 5 and 1. So you have to go to the website there, patreon.com/allgas for ours. That's all I got, man. I can't talk anymore. I am dying of heat exhaustion in this office right now. AC is busted.
And again, a cheap plug for my article is dropping on DD's website tomorrow. My first of the year.
Nice.
Well, I'll just plug this because Shane has agreed to come on as one of the writers with DD. We revamped the content schedule. You'll now find all of the Trades in 5 content on the Destination Devy radio feed or the Wake Up with Ray G and Jay Rich feed. And then Ray and I obviously are doing our Destination Chill show on Wednesday. So tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing that show. And then if you're in the Discord, you essentially get a continuation of that for the Discord AMA at 10 o'clock. So you're going to get more of us. And then obviously the Saturday night hangouts with Shane and I in the DTI 5 is going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to those every week. Last week's was just, it was chill. It felt like we were literally like in our old group meets, except we were able to talk and not have to type. So it was awesome.
It was awesome to consume. I was just chilling on the couch. You're just chilling on the couch with a headset. But yeah, it's also going to be a living and growing or living and breathing Discord channel too. Like we're just growing it right now. It's going to end up being sick. We're going to have all sorts of extra content. That's all I got to say. It's going to be worth whatever we're pricing it at. Okay. Yep. That's all I got. Thank you to everyone who stuck around. We will see you later. And yeah, I guess we're on for next Tuesday stream, but you will hear from us before then. So I'm going to end this broadcast. Later.